If you're an incredibly clumsy person like me, then you probably find the modern class of rugged smartphones incredibly useful. And if there's one word that could describe the Doogee V20, it's rugged. Almost every inch of this smartphone looks like it's designed to survive a nuclear impact, and it has a suite of features that compare very favourably to the previous V10 model in most areas. So, does that make this Doogee's ultimate smartphone? I'm William Worrell with MakeUseOf.com, and today we'll try to answer that question once and for all.
It's very clear that Doogee has leaned heavily into the rugged design philosophy. During my time with the phone, I had several people asking why they couldn't remove the case, before learning that there was no case, and this is just what the phone is like naturally. That should give you an idea of just how thick and weighty this phone is. To some, myself included, the weight and size of the phone is a plus. It feels like it would take a tactical nuclear strike to damage this thing. However, those with small hands may suffer. The V20 also features a 2400 by 1080 AMOLED display on the front and a 1.05 inch mini display on the back. Wireless charging up to 15 watts and super fast charging up to 33 watts, with the port protected by a cover that will stop debris from getting into the charging port even when it's underwater or buried in mud. As you might expect, this gives the phone the much coveted IP69K rating, meaning it's completely protected from dust and debris, as well as protected against even high pressure and high temperature liquids up close.
Another key feature of this phone is the thumbprint sensor, built into the power button on the side, which is something that carries over from the previous V10 version. This sensor is relatively accurate and will even react if you have the thumbprint sensor set up to respond in strange ways. For instance, when holding the phone naturally in my hand, I have it set up to react to my index finger, and I can still open the phone like that.
There's also a programmable button on the opposite side that can be customised to open apps, turn on the torch, or even take screenshots. Another interesting element that you may have noticed is the 3 lenses on the back, which is part of the AI-assisted 3-camera setup. The main lens is a 64 megapixel main camera, a considerable upgrade over the one featured on the original V10. There's also a 20 megapixel night vision camera as well, in case you feel like reenacting the Blair Witch Project, and an 8 megapixel wide angle camera to squeeze more into your shots, though it should be made clear that the wide angle lens does not support video capture. On the plus side, the camera features that are there do work incredibly well. It's possible to take high quality photos if you know what you're doing, but the AI assistant is confusing. It doesn't seem to make a lot of difference whether you have it on or not, but there's every chance that under the right circumstances it could be helpful, such as in low light or with sudden changes in exposure. One sort of strange thing to note here is the fact that the V20 can only record in 2K when it comes to video. That's not a huge issue as 2K offers plenty of quality, but with 4K seemingly the modern standard for smartphones, it seems strange not to chase that higher resolution that everyone else is going for. If you are a smartphone filmmaker, however, there are some other features of the Doogee V20 that you might find more useful. For instance, there's an anti-flicker setting that can be swapped between 50Hz and 60Hz to match the refresh rate of any screens you happen to point it at. So, if you're filming a scene where you need to be able to see what is on a screen, it'll be easier to do with this phone. You can also disable the microphone and shutter noises, which could both potentially be useful in a film shoot scenario. One aspect that many people prioritise with any smartphone is performance. The Doogee V20 comes with 8GB of high-speed RAM, similar to the V10, but comes with double the ROM, with 256GB as standard. You can also expand this with a microSD card if you need to. While it's fair to say that the V20 isn't the most powerful smartphone on the market, it does pack enough of a punch for day-to-day use and a fair bit of gaming as well. Running 3D Mark gave us scores mostly comparable with the Samsung A52 in terms of graphics, while it's closer to the Galaxy M51 in terms of processing. Performance shouldn't be too much of a shock, as this is running effectively the exact same MediaTek Dimensity 700 SoC and 8GB of RAM that the V10 was using. There's not been a big step up here, but then again, it seems like high performance wasn't the aim of the game. In fact, during a non-gaming benchmark, the phone performed admirably, and in day-to-day use, I experienced no slowdown or stuttering. If you are looking for a gaming experience on your phone, then you won't have to miss out on too much with the V20. Obviously, it doesn't struggle at all when it comes to streaming services like Google Stadia or GeForce Now. In fact, the biggest struggle I found when it comes to gaming on this phone is fitting its bulk securely into a controller grip. Once you do have that sorted, gaming is pretty much a breeze. Anything from Genshin Impact to Ark Survival Evolved will run smoothly. And obviously that means the same is true for more standard mobile games like Mario Run or Crossy Roads. When it comes to emulation, the phone handles even GameCube emulation without much trouble, so you can play almost anything from the 6th console generation or earlier.
When it comes to the actual phone aspects of this smartphone, there have been one or two hiccups. Overall, the mic quality is acceptable for a modern smartphone,
As you can hear, demonstrated here.
but there appears to have been a pretty big reduction in overall talk time compared with the V10 due to a smaller battery, and I can't figure out why that was necessary. Sure, going from an 8500 mAh battery to a 6000 mAh battery has shaved off around 40 grams, but the trade-off just isn't worth it.
It's important that you know that the phone is still running Android 11, and so far, there are no plans in the foreseeable future to upgrade to Android 12, which is a shame, but not a deal breaker for most people. The only other strange feature to talk about is the back screen. This is the much touted feature of the phone, but in reality it's kind of hard to see the point of it. Sure, it displays the clock if you have the phone face down and you can use it to control your music, but I can't imagine a scenario where that would be that much easier than just picking up the phone or using controls on your Bluetooth headset. You're more likely to just get annoyed when you turn the phone over at night, only to have the back screen light up for 10 seconds and prevent the room from fully darkening.
The all-important question is the Doogee V20 worth the money? The price point is currently set at around $400 US, which is pretty much smack bang in the middle of the price range for mid-range smartphones, and for that price, you are getting an incredibly robust and rugged design. As I said before, this thing could survive nuclear impact, so it's certainly going to stand up to being dropped a bunch because you can't stop watching videos while trying to cook at the same time. Another important note, of course, is that it does have a relatively impressive camera array for the money, although it is missing one or two key features that previous versions of this phone had.
Overall, the Doogee V20 rugged smartphone feels like it's designed for someone who is fed up with replacing their smartphone every month because they can't stop dropping it. It provides average performance, but unless you're chasing a high-end gaming experience, you probably won't notice a stark difference between this and any other phone in this price range. In short, this is a phone with one key goal: to survive. All other bells and whistles may look nice in the advert, but they're not the main reason that you should be buying this phone.
Thank you for watching our review of the Doogee V20, and thanks Doogee for sending us this phone to cover. If you really liked the video, please leave us a like, as it will help our channel to grow, and you can also hit subscribe and the bell icon to be notified whenever we release a new video. In the description of this video, you'll find a link to our website, where you'll not only find the written version of this specific review, but also a whole other bunch of tech-related articles.